What's up guys, Houndish here, and today I wanted to talk about the Archpriest encounter of the Wrath of the Machine raid. So this is not so much of an encounter guide, but more of a breakdown of a few things which will be useful to know or consider during this encounter. My friend Rusty and the team have helped in a big way to putting together this information and this video in general. So a big shout out to Rusty Nowdrinker, you can find on Twitch. I absolutely recommend that you jump into the stream and say hi. If you're willing to become part of the community, there's absolutely tons of raid help, knowledge, and generally fantastic players to get to know inside of the team. So check out the link in the description. But back to Vosik, the Archpriest. So anybody remotely interested in the raid has a pretty good concept of how this fight works by now. We know that you need 2 people on the right, 2 on the mid, and 2 on the left. In hard mode, you throw 2 bombs per side per round, and that you need 3 or more rounds of bombs depending on missed or late shots to take down his shield for your damage phase. You do DPS, he gets mad and generates Seaver Mites. You use one of the clean rooms to survive and then repeat. So with that out of the way, let's make a few points about phases in this encounter. So firstly, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit and speak about the clean rooms in this encounter. It's certainly a section of the fight that can be a little bit of a rush and some people still struggle with. And this is definitely going to be some of the more valuable stuff in this video, which is why I'm going to speak about it first. Let's go over the rooms and how best to identify and allocate which clean rooms you'll use at the end of the DPS phases. Of course, when DPS is coming to an end, 2 rooms will light up at the same time, and your team has to choose which one to use. Any combination of 2 rooms can light up, so for example, it can be 1 room on each side at the front or the back, and it can also be 2 rooms on the same side potentially as well. So you need quick, clear decisions to succeed at this phase. You need to have 1 person to consistently identify and call out which of the lit rooms that your team is going to use. You don't need 3 people shouting different things over each other after all. This clip is for demonstration, but say we're doing DPS and I'm the guy calling rooms. When it's time, if I'm standing in the mid, I can look to my right and check if the back room is lit up. Whether you're looking left or right doesn't really matter here, but say I see the back right room light up, it's easy, I can call it and we'll go there. If that room wasn't lit up, I would know immediately that one of the rooms on the left will be lit up. And if it's not the back left room, which I can also turn and see from the same position, then it's guaranteed to be the front one. Essentially, as long as you know where a room isn't lit up in your first phase, you're guaranteed to have at least 1 room on the other side. In this particular clip, we're not actually doing DPS, we're just demonstrating the rooms. We've just burned the room on the back right, so we know that we're guaranteed 1 room on the left to light up after the next DPS phase, because it's now impossible for 2 rooms to light on the right hand side. So we make a guess here at front left, which turns out to be wrong. It's actually the back left, but the important thing here is that if we were in our DPS phase, we would know we only have to look left to find a room, and it can be called pretty quickly. After you've burned the second room, things get even easier. We know we've used back right and back left in this encounter, which means we have front right and front left still available, and we can choose where we want to go. Whoever is calling rooms can identify this ahead of time and make it clear to the team with no need for rushing or panicking when it comes to it. If you haven't done enough DPS to kill him yet and it comes down to it, you can use the very final room, which of course will be easy to identify because there'll only be 1 room that you could possibly have left. It's as simple as that. It's just a process of elimination. Your first room call is pretty much the most important one for the entire fight. And if you get that right, you can basically map out every other potential or actual position that you'll need to use for future DPS phases. So now we've been over this, let's backtrack a little bit and talk about the start of the encounter, the adds, throwing the rounds of Seaver Bombs and DPS. The first thing here is to ensure that you take down the adds on each side quickly so that you can safely grab the bombs and do DPS to his shields in the allotted time. Time is of the essence during this phase, but I see so many people still rushing for bombs when too many adds are up and getting killed. If you're hitting those adds from spawn, you'll clear them pretty fast, and then you can use your best judgment as to how safe you are grabbing a particular bomb. The odd dreg or something hanging out behind one of the boxes isn't that likely to kill you. You just need to be aware of your health, environment, and your positioning. The rule here really is to surviving and not rushing. Which leads to another point about missing a throw if you can't make it or you actually miss it, which is, by the way, nowhere near as bad as dying and having to repeat the encounter because you rushed too hard to get a bomb. So with that said, missing bombs is something I wanted to talk about. If you miss any bomb throws in the 3 shield damage phases, this can actually allow you to do a little more Vosik damage at the beginning of the DPS phase, so I'll break it down. It takes 6 bombs, a total of 3 times to take his shield down. Remember, bombs can also damage his health bar, which is why 2 extra bombs drop in the DPS phase. So having bombs to throw at the boss when he has no shield does actually mean more health damage. For example, if you hit all 6 bombs on round 1 and 2, and then miss a bomb and throw 5 in the 3rd round, the boss will be left with a very small amount of shield health, and on the next round you should only need a maximum of 2 bombs to take his shield off, assuming you previously hit all of your other throws. This means that you'll find yourself with another 4 bombs, which don't actually need to hit the shield, and when they hit Axis himself, they will take a chunk of his actual health as opposed to just his shield health. Each bomb reads 131,594 damage when it hits Vosik, so if you hit all 4 after his shields have dropped, you'll see a little chunk of damage by using these additional bombs. Yes, technically you can get more damage here, but I think the thing to take away from this is that it's not the end of the world if you miss a throw. It can potentially mean a little bit more damage. In terms of the damage you get, well, it's like an extra few sniper shots from the team. It's not going to make the encounter, but it's a freebie, which could certainly help. You could try to intentionally use this for more DPS, but for what we're focusing on in this video, survivability is kind of the key. Just remember that you're not going to be penalized for having to do this. If anything, there are potential benefits. And that pretty much sums it up, guys. Just a few tips on surviving and fluidly getting through this encounter. Knowing these things mean that you can work more with the mechanics as opposed to feeling like you're actually fighting the mechanics, which is definitely how it feels when the communication isn't right at this particular encounter. So I hope these tips helped out. Like I said, Rusty helped me out no end with all of the stuff in this video, so come say hi on Twitch. I will leave the link down below. If you enjoyed this video though, a like is always appreciated. Let me know down below any tips you have for other people in this encounter, or any things that you find particularly difficult in this fight would be interesting to read about as well. But if you have enjoyed the video, I'll absolutely do more tips for the other encounters of the raid, so let me know. For now though, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll catch you very soon.